The court's saying that you can't just walk into court and say they did this. That's not how it works. That's how YouTube shouldn't work that way fucking either, but I'm not going to repeat myself. It's so fucking pissed when people act like that. Okay. Based on the foregoing, it has to in order for it to function. It has to be fair, constitutional. You get where I'm coming from. The burden of anyone holding an investigation isn't verbal. The burden is really evidential. You have to prove with real evidence. And people stating things isn't real evidence, I'm sorry to say. Even on YouTube, it shouldn't be held as real evidence. Those things are called claims. That's been my whole assault against people making crazy claims since I've been on YouTube. And me calling out people when all they're doing is making claims. Like when I got mad at Anti-School for a few videos he did, saying the dude just got up there and stated for like 18 videos that all this stuff was happening, but did not show a single piece of evidence that all that stuff is happening. We need to show the evidence that all this is happening if we're going to believe him or consider his content to be worthy of looking at, correct? If the content is supposed to be revealing something. Because it doesn't reveal anything when someone just blabs their mouth. So what's the court saying? The court's saying that you can't just walk into court and say they did this. That's not how it works. That's how YouTube shouldn't work that way fucking either, but I'm not going to repeat myself. It's so fucking pissed when people act like that. Okay. Based on, he just really felt like he could get them hemmed up. That's what you're seeing here. You're seeing that Timothy thought, well, they messed up by doing this, and I bet I can take them to court and get them in trouble. That's vindictive. Why would he be interested in having revenge against them? Unless they just really pissed him off, right? Which they probably did. But what kind of journalist goes to get vengeance on someone else during an investigation, right? This is a case. Look it up your damn self. And this is just from not even that long ago, just a couple years ago, where this man did an investigation and became convinced that something was happening. Whatever reason that convinced him, I don't know. I could make a guess, and I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to say it's a possibility. Maybe it's because every video he did on the subject got a lot of views and subscribers. Maybe it's because he was getting donations when he talked about this because of the sensitive subject matter of what he was saying, combined with the fact that he was adding governmental conspiracy against him, caused many people to feel bad for the guy, want the right thing to happen, and when he came out and said, I don't got the money to go fix it myself, they said, well, let me donate some. And maybe that's why he felt that just having the burden, maybe all the proof he needed was verbal. But one thing that we can determine about him after reading that is he's the type of guy who thinks that evidence sits with what comes out of his mouth, not what he produces as factual paperwork and documents. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go and make an assumption off of the past. Let's say this thing that's happening to him now in 2018 is different. But listen to what he says.
In April, in a press statement issued, CIA and military intelligence officer Robert David Steele stated, quote, we have found the evidence compiled by Timothy Charles Holmseth to be sufficiently compelling to warrant an open hearing that will be televised internationally.
An open hearing that'll be televised internationally, but it's really strange when in the comments section it says the opposite, that he is a witness for a Judiciary Committee of Inquiry, and we find him to be a credible witness. And at this time, he is scheduled to testify in chambers, not publicly, in order to help him comply with the Florida court orders that I personally believe, after looking at some of the evidence, were made on a bias of perjury and deliberate obstruction of justice by multiple parties associated with both cases. Why hasn't Timothy went to his YouTube channel and put out whatever the fuck that Robert Steele saw to make him believe this? And who is Robert Steele? Because if Robert Steele saw something, all Timothy would have to do is show it to us, the people. I think I've seen this guy before. Is the pro bono chief enabling officer of Earth Intelligence Network. Devoted to teaching holistic analytics, true cost economics, and open source everything engineering, he has designed a PhD. He designed a PhD along the above lines but is yet to find a university interested in radical innovation. Could it be the university is not interested in teaching? I don't want to go there. He seeks to create international open source agency. People can write anything they fucking want on the internet, my friends. Recommended for 2017 cycle by Jan Kalvik, as disclosed in his essay, Intelligence and the Nobel Peace Prize, Defense and Intelligence Norway, PR1, PR3, Norwegian, PR3, English, P4, Trump, Putin. This Robert David Steele dude, what the fuck is going on, and why do people trust him anyway? From what I'm seeing in this document, it seems like Timothy's just going to keep going and keep suing and keep alleging and keep asking people for money to do it because, you know, maybe Timothy should go get a job, earn his own money to do this for a couple years, put that money towards going in and funding this now that he's already had it thrown out of court a bunch of times because of lack of evidence. He didn't get it thrown out of court because of some, unjust measure. He got it thrown out of court because he didn't produce evidence when he showed up, and we've got the documents to prove it. Okay? So what are you going to say, that this judge is corrupt? No, there would have been a bunch of witnesses there. A bunch of people sitting there watching the case. I'm sure that Timothy broadcasted all the different parts of the case out for people to hear also. I'd love to hear what he says about this actual document to see if he represents it correctly. And you know how there's supposed to be this awakening now, okay? Before the awakening, it wasn't neutral. There was a dumbing. And I'm not talking about Timothy Steele. Maybe there's parts of this that have been left out. I urge Timothy, he is a YouTuber. He's out of jail posting videos on YouTube. He's got all these YouTubers behind him, David Steele, that lady we listened to. I want Timothy to contact a neutral, unbiased investigator named Unirock. Come on my show, not talk about it. I want him to show us how he is so convinced of the things that he alleges. Why? Because if he drew these conclusions, all these conclusions we just heard about, out of thin air, if he doesn't have anything backing them up, we should not let this happen. Do you get me? It's setting a precedence. It's setting a precedence that we all can dream up evidences. We can throw together shoddy investigations that don't have any type of scientific proof behind them at all. We can run with them until the cows come home while letting good, hard-working people donate their money to funding things, which I bet a lot of his money is going toward things that have nothing to do with this case. Just an assumption. I'd love for him to prove me wrong. You know, I'd love for people to do what I do. You know, you take in donations, but then you show people where the money goes, okay? You show people what you buy. You show people that, you spent $5,000 on a computer and you've only made like 900 and some in donations. So really, you're still 4,000 in the hole, trying to work that off by live streaming, doing shows, and providing a service to people over the next year. You see where I'm going? You got to have a love for what you do, and it should not be money. Should not be promoting a book like crazy. Should not be fucking, duping. When people work for their money, they are spending their time making their money. When you take it, you should provide an utmost service for that money. I only offer a donation link. I only offer what I offer because I truly feel I worked my ever-loving ass off non-fucking stop for this. I don't watch television. I barely even play on my gaming channel that much anymore comparatively. We're constantly trying to generate content for you people as much as I possibly can because I love you. Because I have good intentions. People can challenge it all they want. I urge them to. Go ahead. Whatever you want. But one thing that's really strange about all this, I just listed it all for you. It all falls up, not these two. These two have nothing to do with this. They're just up because I'm going to talk about that situation after this. But Robert David Steele, oh look, he just subscribed to Defang Bro. Canceled due to CrowdStrike copyright and better men. That's why I love Defango. I'm subscribed to Sarah Westfall. Who the fuck is Sarah Westfall? She's the fucking YouTuber. Wait a minute. Sarah Westfall, She's the girl that was up talking the dude that we just saw. She's the girl that was just up talking that guy. She works with David Steele. Deep State Takedown, World War III, Indictment, Zionist Info, War with Robert David Steele. She's the girl that was just sitting there telling you that this guy was locked up unjustly and all that crap we heard about him. She was the one telling us that, and she is working with David Steele. Is that a coincidence? Maybe not. Or I mean, maybe it is. I guess it's possible, right? All right. Have I done enough to show you? Have I done enough to show you? We need to definitely try harder. We need to look up the people that make the claims, and we need to start demanding as a community. The reason they keep doing this shit, if they are doing it, which, by the way, I said maybe they're not. I'd love to take in their evidence and have them come on my show and explain it to me. And I'll offer that. Swear to God, dude. And I'm not just saying that. They can bring their asses in here and change my mind. I'd love them to. But we need to demand burdens of proof from people in this truth community, because they're taking the truth community, and there are people out there lying, bullshitting, and doing very shoddy investigations, very shoddy shows, asking for money and just running with the shit. Thank you, Lily. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You get me? You get why? Because I want everybody to understand. I think a lot of people think that I'm just out to debunk QAnon. I'm just out to throw this guy under the bus. I gave him an open look. I wanted to find the opposite. I wanted to find his evidence. Even the comments were saying, all of his comments, can't wait to see your evidence. They've already donated. They're already supporting the guy. They're already flipping out over all this, admitting they haven't seen his evidence yet. But I'm waiting on it. I promise you, give it an open mind towards his evidence. We will pay attention to this from now on, and we will make sure to check up on this and run further so that I can update this story and say I was wrong. This guy knows what he's talking, not him, the other guy knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. I want to be fair. It's the only thing I want to be.